The watchful silence. The galaxy had seen many wars, but never one like this. The Galactic Empire, proud and ancient, stretched across thousands of star systems. For centuries, no enemy had dared to resist its fleets. But now, one small blue planet stood in their path, Earth. The Empire had expected a swift conquest. They expected the humans to kneel. When their warships first arrived, they laughed at what they found. A few old battleships circling Earth's orbit, their hulls scarred from age. To the aliens, they looked more like floating museums than real war machines. From the grand chamber of the Imperial Senate, alien voices mocked the humans. "They are weak," one counselor declared. "Their technology is 2 centuries behind. They should surrender with gratitude." Others laughed, calling Earth a primitive rock and its people children who pretend to be warriors. But not everyone laughed. In the corner of the chamber, Admiral Kareth of the Zorkai fleet kept silent. His reptilian eyes narrowed as he studied the battle reports. Something was wrong. The humans were not panicking. They were not begging for mercy. Instead, they fought with patience, using every asteroid field and gravity well to slow the Empire's fleets. On the edges of the war, strange rumors began to spread. Alien scout ships reported unusual energy signals far beyond the human colonies. Some claimed to see massive shadows hidden within nebulae, shapes larger than any warship should be. But the reports always ended the same way. Sudden silence, transmissions cut off, ships vanishing without a trace. One such scout ship, the Vorax Spear, drifted near a dying star. Its sensors picked up faint pulses of power, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. The crew stared in confusion. "What is this?" the pilot whispered. "It is not natural." Before they could transmit their findings, the ship's lights flickered and died. A wave of static swallowed their last message, leaving only a chilling silence. Back on Earth, humanity kept its calm face. Politicians spoke of peace, promising they only wished to defend their home. Yet deep underground, in hidden bunkers carved into mountains, human leaders met in secret. Their voices were steady, their plans precise. The fleets orbiting Earth were not their strength. They were a distraction. Above, alien commanders watched with arrogance. They believed victory was already theirs. They spoke of dividing Earth's oceans, mining its lands, and enslaving its people. But in the stillness of space, the humans waited, not with fear but with purpose. Admiral Kareth noticed this detail more than anyone. Reports showed human pilots fighting with strange discipline. They did not throw their lives away in panic. Instead, they withdrew at the right moment, lured enemies into ambushes, and vanished through hidden gates. "This is not weakness," Kareth muttered to himself. "This is delay." Delay for what? No one in the Empire cared to ask. Their pride blinded them. They saw only a fading race clinging to broken ships. But far away, in the dark silence of uncharted space, something vast was stirring. A mining station in the Orion belt reported a tremor. Then its entire station disappeared from sensors. Colonies along the rim whispered of ghost fleets moving silently through the stars. Traders spoke of giant hulls that blocked out the light of suns. The Empire dismissed these as lies, superstition, and human tricks, yet the silence remained. Humanity spoke little, revealed little, and acted as if time itself was their greatest weapon. On Earth's surface, a child looked up at the night sky, watching streaks of fire as alien ships burned in the upper atmosphere. "Will we survive?" she asked her father. He placed a hand on her shoulder and whispered, "We already have. They just don't know it yet." The father's words reflected the truth hidden behind every human eye. They were not broken. They were not finished. They were waiting for something the Empire could not see. As the alien admirals celebrated their coming victory, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. The stars shimmered with a strange stillness, as if they knew the secret the humans carried. And in the silent void, beyond the Empire's reach, shadows moved, colossal shapes preparing to awaken. The humans had not yet shown their hand. Their old ships were only the surface. Their true power remained unseen, waiting for the right moment to strike. It was the watchful silence before the storm. Doubts among the Empire. The Galactic Empire believed the war was already over. Their fleets filled the skies above Earth, and their admirals boasted of an easy victory. But beneath their proud words, a quiet unease began to spread. Small, unshakable doubts that refused to die. At first, the doubts were dismissed. A missing scout ship here, a lost patrol there. In wars across the galaxy, such things were common, but the pattern was growing. Entire squadrons sent to chase human frigates were simply gone. No wreckage, no distress signals, no survivors. It was as if they had been swallowed by the stars themselves. In the high command chamber aboard the Imperial throne ship, Admiral Varos slammed his clawed hand on the holotable. "Enough excuses," he growled. "The Terrans are finished. Their fleets are old, their weapons outdated. These disappearances are cowards' tricks." His words drew loud cheers from the other admirals. But in the back of the chamber, Admiral E. Kareth remained silent, his scaled fingers tapping the table. He remembered the strange reports, the energy pulses, the ghost fleets, the humans' strange patience. He saw a pattern others refused to see. Later, in his private quarters, Kareth studied the intercepted transmissions from human ships. The recordings were short, filled with static, but one detail chilled him. The humans never sounded afraid. Their voices were calm, focused, almost confident. Soldiers facing certain death did not speak this way. Meanwhile, out on the edges of controlled space, the Empire's arrogance was beginning to cost lives. A convoy of supply ships moved through the Cassidian belt, guarded by 6 heavy cruisers. They expected no resistance. But as the fleet crossed the asteroid field, shadows stirred. Human ships emerged, small corvettes, darting like knives between rocks. The aliens expected an easy slaughter. Yet the humans fought with strange precision. They attacked weak spots, vanished into debris, reappeared in perfect formation. Then, as suddenly as they had come, they disappeared, leaving behind 1 destroyed cruiser and 4 crippled supply ships. The rest limped back, terrified, whispering of unseen forces guiding the humans' moves. Word of the attack reached the Empire's central fleet, but the admirals dismissed it. "A lucky strike," they said. Nothing more. But the lower ranks, the soldiers, the scouts, the ones who fought face to face with humans, they knew better. Whispers spread in secret corners of the fleet. The humans are not desperate. They are waiting for something. Even the conquered worlds began to sense it. Alien merchants passing near Terran space returned with strange tales. They spoke of human freighters vanishing into uncharted regions, carrying no cargo, yet guarded like treasures. They spoke of distant stars flickering as if something massive moved before them. They spoke of shadows that did not match the light. One frightened trader swore he saw a ship the size of a city gliding through the void, silent and unmarked. "It was not a ship," he whispered. "It was a fortress, and it was watching us." His report was filed away, dismissed as superstition. Back on Earth, humanity continued its quiet resistance. Old fighters launched daring raids, striking fuel depots and supply lines. Colonies on Mars and Europa reported holding out longer than expected, forcing the Empire to divert resources. To outsiders, it seemed reckless. To the humans, it was part of the design. The Empire did not know the truth. Every move was planned. Every sacrifice bought time. And time was the one weapon the humans needed most. Kareth's doubts grew heavier. He requested a meeting with the Imperial Senate, warning them that the humans were not showing their full strength. His words were met with laughter. "You see ghosts where there are none," the counselor said. "This war is over. Soon Earth will burn and its people will serve." But Kareth's instincts screamed otherwise. He had seen empires fall before, not from superior weapons, but from pride. And pride was now the Empire's greatest weakness. In the silence of space near the edge of the Vega system, a forgotten human satellite flickered to life. Its old metal frame looked worthless, a relic from centuries past. But within its coded transmissions lay hidden orders, signals that reached far beyond Earth. Signals meant for something vast, something waiting just out of sight. The humans were not fighting to win skirmishes. They were fighting to delay the inevitable. The galaxy had not yet seen the truth, but the signs were there for anyone willing to look. As Admiral Kareth stared into the star maps, a cold realization struck him. The humans, he whispered, are not losing. They are preparing. The silence that followed was heavier than any weapon. The first crack in pride. The Empire's fleets gathered above Earth like a storm of steel. Thousands of alien warships formed tight formations, their weapons glowing with energy. From orbit, the blue oceans and green continents of Earth looked small and helpless, trapped beneath an iron sky. Alien admirals congratulated each other, confident the humans were finished. In the command halls of the Imperial throne ship, voices of pride filled the air. The Terrans hold nothing back now, one commander sneered. These pitiful fighters are their last gasp. Another laughed. Their resistance is brave but meaningless. They are already dead. Yet in the darkness between the stars, the truth was very different. On the outer edge of the Sol system, a small fleet of human ships prepared for one final stand. Their hulls were battered, their weapons outdated, but their crews moved with a steady discipline. They knew they were not here to win. They were here to stall. The alien fleet descended on them with overwhelming power. Waves of plasma fire and beams of energy tore through human ships. One after another, vessels broke apart in silence, their remains drifting into the void. Still, the humans fought on. A squadron of old Terran fighters darted through the alien lines, weaving through fire, like hunters in a storm. They struck fuel tanks, pierced engines, and vanished before the enemy could lock on. Their bravery stunned even their enemies. Admiral Varos, watching from the alien flagship, laughed as he saw the human ships fall. "Look at them," he declared, throwing themselves into the fire like insects. But Admiral Kareth, standing beside him, did not laugh. He watched the human formations carefully, and his scales prickled with unease. The humans were not fighting blindly. They were moving with precision, forcing the aliens to waste time and resources. Each human ship that fell seemed to drag its killers into a trap. Each fighter that vanished reappeared at the exact moment to strike where it hurt most. "This is no desperate fight," Kareth muttered. "They are delaying us." Varos turned with a mocking smile. "Delaying? For what? They have nothing left." But even as he spoke, the humans revealed their first true move. At the center of the battle, an ancient Terran battleship, the Horizon's Pride, stood its ground. It was a relic, older than most of the alien fleet itself, its hull scarred from centuries of service. Surrounded on all sides, its engines burning, the ship did not retreat. Instead, it charged forward. The aliens laughed at first, calling it a suicidal act. But then, too late, they realized what was happening. The battleship's reactors were overloading. Warnings flared across alien sensors. And then the Horizon's Pride exploded. The blast tore through space like a miniature star. Shockwaves of energy ripped across the battlefield, frying systems, crippling engines, and shredding shields. Half of the alien fleet was thrown into chaos, their formation shattered. For the first time, the Empire's war machine staggered. Surviving humans retreated through hidden jump gates, vanishing into the void. The aliens were left in stunned silence, staring at the wreckage of their once perfect formation. On the command bridge, Varos roared in rage. Madness! They sacrificed an entire battleship, but Kareth's eyes widened in realization. Not madness, he whispered. A signal. He understood it now. The humans weren't trying to win these battles. They were sending messages to their enemies, to their allies, and perhaps to something else. Every delay, every sacrifice, every whisper of hidden fleets, they were part of a greater design. The first crack had appeared in the Empire's Pride. Throughout the galaxy, the news spread faster than light. On conquered worlds, whispers grew bolder. If humans could cripple half of the Empire's fleet with one ancient ship, what else were they hiding? On neutral planets, merchants spoke of shadows moving in deep space, larger than anything seen before. On the Empire's outer colonies, fear crept into the voices of governors and soldiers alike. The Empire still laughed in public. Their leaders still boasted of victory, but behind closed doors, doubt was beginning to spread like fire. The humans had not fallen, they had endured, and worse, they were planning something greater. On Earth, survivors of the Horizon's pride were honored in secret. Families wept, but their tears were mixed with pride. They knew their sacrifice had bought more time, and time was the one thing humanity needed. As the smoke of battle cleared, Kareth stood at the viewing window of his flagship. Stars glittered in the distance, cold and unchanging, but deep inside, he felt a truth that gnawed at his pride. The humans were not weak, they were not desperate, they were patient, and patience was the most dangerous weapon of all. The hidden armada awakens. The battlefield above Earth still burned. Wreckage of alien and human ships drifted like broken bones across the void. The Empire had lost more ships than they expected, but their commanders still laughed, calling it a minor setback. They believed the war was theirs. They believed humanity had finally shown its last trick, but the humans had not revealed their true hand. Not yet. In the cold silence beyond the solar system, far past Neptune's orbit, an ancient array of satellites flickered awake. Their signals pulsed in rhythm, invisible to alien eyes. The stars themselves seemed to shiver as something vast stirred in the darkness. For decades, humanity had hidden its greatest creation. While the galaxy laughed at Earth's weak fleets, the real Terran Armada had been sleeping in the shadows. Entire shipyards carved into hollowed moons. Warships, the size of mountains hidden inside asteroid belts, silent fortresses waiting in the void, cloaked from every sensor. Now their time had come. On the bridge of the alien flagship, Admiral Varos paced with fury. The Terrans sacrificed their ships like fools, and for what? A few lost cruisers? It means nothing. But Admiral Kareth's reptilian eyes narrowed as his sensors caught a flicker on the edge of the system. It was faint. Too faint for ordinary scanners, but it was there. Massive power surges, too many to count, appearing one after another. Kareth's voice was cold. That is not nothing. Before Varos could reply, the first wormhole tore open. The void split like glass. From the tear emerged a ship so massive that even the alien dreadnoughts seemed like toys beside it. Its hull gleamed black as obsidian, lined with weapons that glowed like captured suns. Across its side, in bold white, letters, a single word: Titan. Gasps spread across alien fleets as more wormholes ignited. One by one, colossal human warships emerged. Leviathan-class carriers, fortress ships bristling with cannons, and sleek destroyers designed with impossible angles that bent light itself. Their engines burned with silent fire, their movements steady and terrifying. The humans had not been losing. They had been waiting. The Empire's formations crumbled as panic swept through their ranks. Soldiers who once mocked humanity now stared in horror at the endless wall of steel and fire. The Terran Armada filled the stars, hundreds of ships revealing themselves, each more advanced than anything the Empire had ever faced. On Earth, cheers erupted in hidden bunkers as transmissions confirmed it. The Core Armada had awakened. Civilians wept with relief. Soldiers tightened their grips on weapons. Humanity's true strength had finally arrived. The first shots came from the Titan. A single beam of condensed energy lanced through the void, striking an alien dreadnought. The mighty ship, once thought indestructible, split apart in seconds, its fragments scattering into the black. The Empire's laughter was gone. In its place came silence broken only by the screams of their panicked crews. Admiral Varos shouted for his fleets to regroup, but it was useless. The humans struck with terrifying precision. Each massive battleship fired in unison, ripping apart alien formations like paper. The Terran destroyers darted through the chaos, cutting supply lines and crippling engines. The fortress ships unleashed swarms of drones, each one armed and guided with ruthless efficiency. It was a storm of steel and fire, and the Empire was drowning. Kareth stood frozen, his chest tightening as realization consumed him. The humans had deceived them all. The fleets above Earth had been bait, sacrificial pawns meant to lure the Empire into overconfidence. The true Armada had been hidden all along, waiting for this exact moment. They played us, Kareth whispered. His voice shook not with anger but with awe. They made us believe they were weak. And now they strike. The alien fleet's pride shattered like glass. Ships tried to flee, but the humans had anticipated even that. Wormholes snapped, open ahead of retreating vessels, releasing Terran interceptors that cut them down before they could escape. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire was not the hunter. It was the prey. From the shadows of space, more human ships continued to emerge. It seemed endless, a tide that could not be stopped. With every blast, with every destroyed dreadnought, the galaxy itself seemed to whisper a new truth. Humanity was no longer the victim. They were the storm, and the Empire had finally felt its first true strike. The Empire's regret, the void above Earth was no longer ruled by the Empire. Where alien banners once hung in triumph, only fire and silence remained. Wreckage of dreadnoughts drifted like broken crowns, their twisted metal glowing faintly against the dark. The proud war machine of the Empire had been shattered. Across the surviving fleets, panic spread like a disease. Officers who once laughed at human weakness now shouted in terror, their voices breaking over comms. Soldiers begged for orders that never came. Admirals barked commands, but their words were drowned beneath the roar of exploding ships. The great empire, undefeated for centuries, had been brought to its knees in a single night, and humanity had done it. On the bridge of the Titan, Captain Ilara Vance stood tall. Her face was lit by the glow of tactical screens as reports poured in. Alien fleets broken, their reinforcements scattered, their supply chains cut. She closed her eyes, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. "This is not the end," she said quietly. "This is only the beginning." The galaxy had underestimated her people for too long. Far away, in the halls of the Imperial Senate, chaos reigned. Senators screamed at one another, demanding explanations. "How could this happen?" one shrieked. "They were weak." Another slammed his fist against the table. "We were deceived. They hid their armada from us." But the truth was simpler. The Empire's pride had blinded them. They had mocked humanity's silence, never realizing that silence had teeth. Admiral Kareth, watching the reports in grim silence, understood what no one else would admit. "We were warned," he said. His voice was heavy with regret. "Every missing ship, every strange signal, every quiet battle we dismissed, they were all signs, and we ignored them." As the Terran Armada advanced, the Empire's final defenses collapsed. Human fortress ships opened their hangars, unleashing waves of drones and fighters. Carriers poured reinforcements into the battlefield. Each move was precise, each strike devastating. It was not a battle anymore. It was judgment. On neutral worlds, citizens gathered around hollow screens, watching in awe. For centuries they had feared the Empire. Now they saw its fleets burn, and they saw the humans, not as victims, not as prey, but as giants rising from the shadows. Whispers spread faster than light. The humans endured. The humans deceived. The humans struck. In the ruins of the battle, the Empire's survivors drifted aimlessly. Their once mighty admirals stared in shock, unable to believe what had happened. Varos, who had mocked the humans to the last moment, sat slumped in his chair, his voice trembling. "Impossible. They cannot be stronger than us." But Kareth only closed his eyes. "They were never weaker," he replied. "They were wiser." The humans had not needed endless conquests or loud declarations of power. They had needed only time. And now, with their hidden armada revealed, The galaxy itself trembled before them. On Earth, people filled the streets, cheering through tears. The sky was still scarred with the light of war, but their spirits soared higher than ever before. Families embraced, soldiers saluted, and children pointed to the stars with wonder. They had survived the impossible. And yet, for humanity, survival was not enough. Captain Vance looked at her crew, her voice steady and strong. The Empire believed. They ruled the stars. But the stars do not belong to tyrants, they belong to those who dare to fight for them. Her words echoed across the fleet as Terran ships pressed forward, chasing the broken remnants of the Empire into the depths of space. Humanity's silence had ended. Their voice was thunder now, and the galaxy could no longer ignore it. The Empire, once feared across 1,000 worlds, was left with only regret. They had believed humanity was weak. They had believed the small blue planet was nothing but prey. But by the time they realized the truth, it was already too late. The humans had not just survived, they had risen, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same again.